What's up, Energy Physio? We're going after the tissue in the front of the torso. So we're dealing with a little bit of abdominal tissue, some obliques, some rectus abdominis, but especially the abdominal fascia and even getting into the fascia of the respiratory diaphragm a little bit. All right, so when we do this, there's a couple places we want to be spending our time. Right under the rib angle, okay, and we can bias one side or the other or just go dead center. And so you're going to use like a medicine ball, a slam ball, something like that. I don't have one, so I'm using a big kettlebell. Anything that's round will work. It needs to be a decent size. It can be probably anywhere from softball size to probably basketball size, and anywhere in between. But we can spend time dead center, and it should not be sitting on top of your ribs, but it should be touching the undersurface. And then we're going to spend some time down just on top of the pubic bone and working kind of the lower abs, lower abdominal fascia, lower obliques to free up some of that tissue. This is what it looks like. You're going to take whatever you're using that's round, and then you're going to rest right on top of it, just under your rib angle. So I'm just going to start dead center. If I were to bias the left side, I'd have to come up a little bit. Just remember, it doesn't need to be on top of your ribs, but just kind of tucked right underneath them. So as the ribs taper down, whatever ball you're using needs to follow that. But let's just start right in the center. What you're going to do is just try and relax into that. And if you're anything like me and most people, it gets pretty gnarly pretty quick. So you're just going to take some deep breaths. Each time you breathe out, try and sink in a little further. And as you relax and breathe out, the ball sinks in a little further. You probably feel your heartbeat, and your natural response is probably going to be to tighten up because there's going to be some gritty stuff in there. But those are restrictions in your abdominal muscles and abdominal fascia that can limit your spine's ability to extend. It can limit your overhead position through your anterior fascial plane stiffness. It can also limit your breathing capacity, especially if you're doing endurance sports or sprinting. You want your respiratory capacity to be as high as you can get it. So if you have any restrictions in the abdomen, in the chest wall, in the diaphragm, that'll limit how well you can breathe and exchange oxygen. And so just by freeing up some of this tissue, you can free up your breathing a little bit. So you're going to spend 20 breaths right in the center, and then you're going to go down a little bit, and it shouldn't be sitting right on top of the pubic bone. It should be sitting just on the top of it, coming down from the rib cage. So you shouldn't have pressure on the bone, but you should feel the ball on the bone. And the same thing, deep breath in, and then blow out and relax. And the lower is typically a little more gritty than the upper even. And you may just kind of hunt out some of your tender spots. Do some deep breathing around those. Try and relax in. And then when you're done, just a good way that we can get somewhat of a functional movement involved there is just working the prone press up. And if you want to do a retest before, do a press up, see how it feels in the front, work on the ball a little bit, and then come back to the press up. And you should notice a little easier extension, a little less pain in the lower back if you've got that, and better movement through the abdominal tissue in the front. Try that out. See you later.